Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hamster's Hobby Hang. Also, the day the Perseverance landed on Mars. Also, the day of the 1-year anniversary of Dwarven Forge Live.
Happy anniversary, everybody. Also, most importantly, the date after we got confirmed that Legend of Mana is actually finally getting remade.
Hey, there we go.
Legend of Mana. It is coming in June. Oh my god.
Amazing.
It is the most personal game announcement that has happened for me in a very long time.
Alright.
Okay.
I didn't see any Nintendo stuff until I saw your tweet.
It's
Chris.
a game with the... That's the thing. Nobody knows about it. Everybody knows about, like, Secret of Mana, maybe Trials of Mana. Like, all the other Mana games get, like, a lot of attention, but Legend of Mana, like, okay. At Dwarven Forge specifically, we should like it, because it's literally... What's that?
Are we in Nintendo Direct here?
Yeah, this is the Nintendo Direct React stream.
Direct. At Dwarven Forge specifically, we should like it, because it's a modular world.
Yeah, I saw that. I really like that.
It's very cool. Like genuinely, like you place like items down and they like grow, and so like not only do you choose like which towns and like areas are where on the map, but like depending on where you put them, it like affects every like story thing that happens there, like the way that it develops. It's very, very cool. It was like an incredibly ahead of its time game, and nobody has bothered doing almost any of the stuff in it since. And it's so good.
Yeah, it's so funny. Excited. Like, I never had a PS2, but when I saw the trailer for the remake, I was like, that's really cool how you place things.
It's so good. And it's got, and it has, like, a partner system, so, like, you can trade out, like, the ally that's fighting with you, like, at any time, basically, as you build them up. You also can raise, like, monsters, like Rabites. Rabites are some of the cutest, like, RPG monsters, like, ever made. You can raise monsters, first off, to fight with you as well. It's got a different weapon system where like you level like, oh, nunchucks. I want to learn some special moves with nunchucks. And yes, nunchucks are one of the weapons that you can develop. It's very cool.
I like how like this in-depth discussion about this game happens like less than half a second.
Yo, I can tell he's been raring to go on this discussion.
I'm not trying to put down the game. It looks awesome.
Hey, you know what though? He earned it because Chris and Mace are the reason this channel exists.
Yeah.
So congrats to you guys on 1 year of streaming.
And you were there too at the beginning.
I was. Well, yeah. I mentioned it, and then it was like, who has bandwidth? And we're like, nobody. So, and then you came. So thank God.
That's the first time I've ever heard that sentence.
All right, I regret my phrasing already.
So, yeah, no, this is, like, yeah, January of 2020, I think, is when we started, like, actually officially planning.
Yep.
And it was me, you, and Mace trying to figure out what the schedule would be. I remember, like, December 2019, I had, like, helped with editing some stuff, and then I, like, cornered Nate in his office afterwards, and I was like, look, have you considered, like, actually, like, expanding streaming as, like, a thing that we do outside of just, like, a one-time thing during Kickstarters? And then it's with that Christmas coming up with, like, a way to do it, and then we started, January we started,
well,
like,
and it's really developed because the first stream was, like, turning these iMacs to smoke, right? And we were just like barely ran, and then Chris built a custom PC for Dwarven Forge streams.
Yeah,
and
if you were here during Hellscape and when we did the game there, we had this really cool setup and it looked great. The Mac that we were running it on was like a super old Mac with like an i3 processor. It could not handle all the video feeds that were coming through it, and it was chugging hard.
Yeah.
Speaking of chugging.
Here. So we've tried a lot of stuff. I remember. Oh, there's me twice. Wait, Mace, come back. I don't like that angle. Only you guys see that angle. So this is the stream camera, and Discord is showing this camera. My awesome quarantine weight profile here. But we had the Wargame stream, which was a very fun mess. A very, very fun marathon of a thing. Actually, all of you guys were here for that. Toby was in it. Mace, Chris. Tyler, you were there and definitely cleaned up my mess. That's for sure.
Which stream?
The war game stream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like me, you know, a lot of people in the office are like this, but the optimistic idea of like, I'll just design a custom game. Like, you know, designing and balancing a rule set is easy.
You're like losing sleep. You're like, does that even work? Can you make that? Can this? But if this ability doesn't hit this ability, then how does it work?
I'll just combine a bunch of great, you know, parts of different systems to make it this really fast-paced, fun thing. And then I like have this document like, oh god.
It's like a laminated sheet of paper that
Yeah.
like, well, you gotta.
Yeah, I think this is actually the people who have been the most involved with the streaming outside of Nate. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the definite last place here, but
You've been around, and I'm really happy that you've hopped in more now.
yeah,
It's good just to chat because we don't have office chats anymore.
I know.
Yeah,
I
this is
don't
the closest thing we
remember
get to like
people's names
the
anymore.
feeling of hanging out in the office these days.
Yeah.
Ah well. But
Well-
hey, maybe they'll be changing soon.
Yeah.
Vaccines are here.
Someone in the office is already eligible, I think, so it's coming around.
Yeah.
Coming
Okay,
around.
so as long as she gets her shots, then we're
No,
all
I'm
good.
saying the timeline is moving along. The ball is
That's
rolling.
what herd immunity is, right? It's
Yes.
one person gets it.
We
and then
all,
everybody-
yeah,
I just
one
need to
person
hear about-
gets it, and we just have to like, just touch it. I'm not gonna.
Put it in
I was
the
gonna
back
say
pocket.
touch and rub, but I already knew that wasn't gonna be good phrasing. But, cause I think of it innocently, and then this group here is gonna, you know.
Yeah.
But
Very innocent hamster.
I don't know what you're talking about, honestly.
Hamster, what are you working on tonight?
I have a group of Infinity models, one of which you've seen on the stream, and they've sat on the shelf since. And I've done like one step a month since then, and I just want to crank them out. So I got like, how many left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Infinity guys. All have some decent progress on them, so hopefully I can at least get up to the bases, do the rest of the paint.
Yeah.
Just slap some glue snow on the base.
How did those turtles come out?
The one on stream frustrated me horribly, and I'm gonna start over.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I'm gonna design a new scheme. What I want to do is use a bunch of airbrush underpainting. So, cause I own, look, I guess I'm a gearhead because I own 3 airbrushes now, and I have to start. Not with the quick release hose that I got recently. They have different needle sizes, right? So the width is different. Okay, so I'm gonna start using those to try some cool stuff.
You setting up like this line of fucking.
No, yes, I have a stand. I'm on the side of my desk. I have like little clamp stands that'll have all 3 of them. I just snap them on, snap them off, paint away.
Like 5 inches of space already in your apartment, and you have 3 airbrushes.
Yeah. The camera will never turn to this side of the room. This week I'm vowing to clean it, but we'll see.
Well, that's awesome. That sounds fun.
Turn it.
Mace, what are you working on?
I am just gonna draw tonight. I'm having some technical difficulties, so I'm doing whatever I could scrounge up. So I'm getting my iPad out. I haven't drawn in a long time. The last time was probably on the hobby hang, and I'm just gonna doodle around, maybe cry a little bit, and then go back to doodling.
What is
Why are you
what's the
crying?
technical difficulty? Oh, you just mean like your internet?
Yeah, that's nothing to do with you. It's just, you know,
I was like, how did
Service
you,
provider.
Like,
How
I'm
is
gonna,
that
Snow. I think the snow is making her internet.
wait, what did she
Hamster.
say? Oh.
Hamster, you should turn Mace up on your end. I turned her up to max on my end. Her phone mic is just a little bit quiet. Chat's having a hard time hearing her.
No, turn her down. Turn her down.
Got
All right,
it.
Toby.
I'll just be mute and do sign language. That's
No, you're fine. All you had to do is just boost you. Like
You're good
boosted you,
now.
it should be good.
well, that's too
I feel like
bad.
you can sign
Maybe
that,
too much,
so
actually.
muting her doesn't sound-
And Toby,
Yeah.
you're still working on.
I'm not working on anything. I'm just looking down and acting all concentrated to make you guys think I'm working on something.
That's
I'm
your
working
that's
on-
your
I'm
craft
working on
for this
this again.
week. It's really coming together. That whole exterior.
Yeah, it's fun working on all the wood texture and like the broken tiles. I'm
Right.
gonna try to break down more. Maybe.
That's really cool, man. It's just like it's never stopping being cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane, the detail you have on that thing.
What are you
Um,
working on, Tyler?
Oh, what's up, Hamsey?
No, nothing. Go for it. Let's hear it. I'm just really excited
okay.
about the special thing today, so I almost skipped you guys.
No, that's fine. I mean,
No, I want to hear I want to see what you're working on.
So I'm gonna talk about it. Don't worry. Stop talking over me.
All right, hey Tyler, thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining us on our anniversary. We'll have a good night.
No, I'm gonna be writing some tonight. I'll probably draw a little bit later. Thursday nights are usually the nights that I get the most time to actually work on our Friday D&D session.
Oh, nice.
So I have to prepare for 2 tomorrow. So we're doing a double.
Ooh. What happened over there?
Do you want a knife and to stop breaking your minis?
It's fine. This will come back on easy. I'm gonna grab the.
Be kind. Be kind to them. I've already done some surgery for you guys.
That was not my fault. That was the cat.
Oh, well, she can do no wrong, so.
Well, he's painting some more Ragecraft. I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah, this is the bishop from Ragecraft, and I actually haven't assembled it yet because I want to paint it before I assemble it and see how that goes because I've never done that before. Good.
So Hamster,
Yo.
what's this special? What's this? You were
We,
saying?
oh, yeah, we starting with. Are we starting? What's the timeline
Are
on that?
we? You were.
This is your show.
All right, then I want to do it because I'm super excited. Especially because I found you know what, and I didn't think I was gonna be able to, so I'm really excited.
Also, I feel like you're the one who actually knows what you're talking about.
Well, yeah.
I know what he's talking about.
Actually, before that, there's a very important question in the chat. What's wit de frog?
This is the frog in a car from Mother 3.
Just there.
I like it.
Yep, and it has showed up in the studio, in the office. He just
I
comes
got it
around.
I got it during Wildlands, so we brought it into the office during Wildlands. That's really it.
Oh, another
like
important question. Will it be part of KS8?
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna have frogs in KS8
Yes.
to go with the docks.
No, we're doing a fully modular frog system.
Ooh.
There's nothing else besides building a frog and building a car for it.
Frog builder system.
RC. We're gonna get into RC now.
Oh, yeah. Topula says you gotta hide the frog in every stream. He just is like in a corner on a shelf or something.
I could theoretically put it behind me during On the Anvil, I guess.
Fine places.
Yeah. Let's go with the modular boats, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
I collected. I went through this morning and collected a bunch of feedback that people had after we revealed.
Sounds noisy.
After we revealed cities on the Anvil last night, and I made a special section on the feedback sheet just for all the times that people said, "Okay, so they're definitely doing boats." So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, someone here, I forget who, someone had the great idea of, on the anniversary, showing off the very first miniatures that we ever painted.
Nice.
I think it was Chris's idea.
Chris's idea.
Congratulations to whoever thought of that.
All right. Chris had the wonderful idea to show off the first miniature, and I'm so excited how many people in the office have started painting miniatures, because there wasn't a lot of miniature painters around the office, surprisingly. And now everyone's in on it, which of course is absolutely my jam. So let's see. I have pictures for Chris, Toby, and Mace. I don't know if I have one from Tyler or if you have your miniature or not.
I definitely don't have a picture.
He just rolled up with a drink. He said, "I'm joining stream again," and he's here.
I also have mine in person because you actually helped me with my first mini.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to your picture, and you're gonna be big now. So here's the miniature, and it's directly over Tyler's face, which is not intentional at all. But
I like it though. That's good. That's how it should be. It's perfect.
So this was painted last year.
Yeah, we painted. Wow.
No, more than that.
Was it? Don't tell me it was more than a year. Don't tell me it was more than a year.
It was before we were starting the streams here. Yeah, it had to have
No
been. It had to have been
way.
like fall 2019.
Yeah.
Fall
Yeah,
29. Okay, I have no concept of time then anymore.
It's not that much more. It's like a year and a half.
I know, but still, like, if you would have told me it was 6 months ago, I would have believed you.
Toby?
Does anyone have a concept of time anymore?
I guess, yeah, you're right. At this point, yeah. But, cover the frog and we riot. All right, I will always prioritize covering Tyler's face over covering the frog. Dum Dum Deezy is actually a special guest in here, which we'll come around to. But, yeah, what most impressed me was your first miniature, you tried freehand. I'm still scared of freehand.
Oh yeah, the shield.
Yeah, and you had like a cool
I
backstory
yeah.
behind the symbol and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, this is my paladin, Philip, and he's a paladin of ROI, because he's an oath of the ancient. So he's ROI is the goddess of fertility, and her symbol is a sheaf of wheat, basically. So I tried to freehand like a wheat symbol on the shield.
Yeah, I thought that was such a cool idea, and I don't even know, I still hardly do freehand because it terrifies me. So I mean, that was awesome.
I'm looking at this and like, there's definitely some color blending issues with like there's some times where like I just wasn't very clean on the lines. I'm still happy with the leaves on the base though.
Yeah, those look cool.
And like literally all I did with that was I started with yellow, and then I just added a little more red to it, or like for each leaf, so that I had like a variety of colors between yellow and red. That was fun.
I mean, Amy has a good point. I guess I'm always painting freehand. Otherwise, how else are you painting? But all right, Mace, you're up. Are you ready? I was so impressed. I was so impressed with Mace's first miniature.
My first mini was for my character Hatchet, who is a cat to backseat person that was raised in the sewers, but she might be a raccoon, but nobody has had the heart to tell her that. So I did her face kind of with some of that white and the mask thing too. The rest of the armor, I'm really digging I wanted to go with like a copper patina kind of sleeve thing, and that one turned out okay, but there's things that I would adjust to it now. Like that mini, I feel like I never fully finished, and I've just done so many other minis in the meantime that I guess I technically put paintbrushes down on it, but
I mean, for your first mini, you got this patina effect. You got the raccoon face. Again, kind of a freehand pattern. Like, I was just blown away when I saw that face. Like, I was like, holy crap.
It took me like an hour, which was more than I thought it would take.
Well, and you did this you started it at least at like a friendly local game store sort of mini painting class, right?
Yeah, Janet and I, our lead graphic designer, or one of the head graphic designers, she and I both wanted to learn how to paint minis, so we went to 20-sided. They were offering classes there and had like, oh, a little fun doing a little activity together. And we had also previously done some of that like pottery painting stuff.
Oh, cool.
And it was just like naturally the next thing that we do for painting. But yeah, I learned there. Lots of nice people letting me borrow their brushes and paint, even if I destroyed them, and hopefully I didn't, but who knows.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Toby, you're up with the classic Dwarven Forge Lizard Man.
Yeah, I was like one day in K. It was just me and Nina working in the office on KS5, and it was a slow day. Like, we just took a break, and I was like, hey, want to try painting a mini?
And again, I'm realizing you also have a freehand freaking pattern on your first miniature. I was slacking.
I tried to do it on the shield and also like give him like stripes on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the orange patterning over the green.
Yeah. This is like one of the metal minis though.
Oh, this is a metal one, so this is really old school Dwarven Forge.
Like I think they made like a bunch of them. I don't know why they did it, but we had a whole bag of them, like metal minis of Lizardmen and stuff like that in the office. So
Right.
Yeah, did that.
And Imi has a great idea. We should share, if you have a picture of your first mini, throw it in the Discord in the
Ooh, yeah.
Artist Alley or Share Your Minis. It'd be great to see those. Okay, so I didn't, literally we've been talking about this for at least a week, and I couldn't find any pictures of my first miniatures, which I painted when I was like 10 or 11 years old. But in an old group chat with my cousins who got me into the hobby, I found a picture. So here they are. I had got a blister of 3 Warhammer ghouls.
Oh, wow.
And these are metal as well. And so that's why I said Dum Dum DZ special guest is one of my cousins, 2 brothers, that got me into Warhammer. And so for one holiday, they got me this blister, one of those bright red Citadel brushes that, you know, they don't make anymore. And they gave me bleached, well no, I think I got Codex Gray, this rock color. These are old school Citadel colors. Rotting Flesh and Vermin Brown, and eventually I got Bleached Bone. Maybe it was one or the other. It was either Bleached Bone first, and then I got the Codex Gray. Classic Goblin Green bases, which models, it was a law that models from this era had to have Goblin Green bases. I'm not sure about the Elmer's glue residue. I don't think that was required on the bases. I actually glued all my first dwarf miniatures with Elmer's glue, and they all fell apart. But yeah, and originally I didn't have any flocking, but the first time that I glued grass flock to a base, my mind was absolutely blown. I was like, this looks so freaking cool. Yeah, DZ says, I felt like such a badass when I switched to Dark Angels green bases, getting grimdark up in here. So yeah, these are very special to me. These are, in fact, this photo was taken in my mom's basement, where these still live, with all my old hobby stuff. That is, thankfully, still around. In fact, this is almost all that remains, because when I went to college, I sold a bunch of my Warhammer stuff. But I kept these as a memory. Memento. So thank you, DZ. If you see Steven suffering in the chat, those 2 guys are the reason I got into this hobby. I posted in the Discord this week on Warhammer. I bought the rulebook of the first edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, 6th edition, where they would bring it to our grandma's house, and I would just stare at the same pictures every time I was there. I'd say, "Did you bring the book?" And they had these fully painted Empire and Orc armies on like the grass flock battlefield in their rank and file formations, and like, oh man, it was just I loved looking at those. And
I love like 10-year-old Hamster sitting in the go, "Did you bring the book?"
I did. I would like be like run into grandma's house, be like, "Yeah, I love you. How's everybody? Have Merry Christmas. Hey guys, where's the rule book?" But also, the rules were like, love them, but so clunky and so dense. And I'm like a little kid trying to learn the rules. And I would literally, like, backseat road trip, right? I would just, like, read it cover to cover, not get any of it, flip it back over, start over again. And I had to read it like a dozen times before it finally started sticking. All the little rules. So yeah, here we are, man. I can't believe it. Over 15 years, man. Like 17 years been doing it. Took some breaks. I mean, that's Tales old as time in the hobby, right? Like, did it as a kid, went to school, too busy for it, right? Then got back into it. Yeah, Tale as old as time, exactly. Yeah, we won't show the video, but
no, we won't.
Yeah. So that's how it all began.
Well, they look great.
Thank you. Just, good old base coat. And appropriate colors. Rotting flesh for ghouls. I mean, come on. Talk about marketing.
Yeah, yep. you gotta taste for the natural, kid. It's very impressionistic.
What did you have as far as Warhammer?
Okay.
Yeah, Warhammer. That's what you got a question in chat.
Sure. So, this is also part of the hobby that has stayed with me since I was a kid, where I would buy probably about 500% of the number of models versus what I would actually paint. So I had so many different armies on the frame in the box. Growing up, I had Skaven. I painted 1 or 2 units out of that army. Wood Elves I had. Tomb Kings, which I had great ideas for, never painted them, and then they were killed off with the old world before Age of Sigmar. But I'm going to apply some of the ideas to Necrons, the 40k Tomb Kings, where I make them like cobwebby and stuff. But my first love, so after the ghouls, the first thing God, I'm just going down memory lane here. The first thing I got after the ghouls from my cousins was the 6th starter set, Empire and Orcs and Goblins 2-player starter set. And I remember like one of the cannons, I like glued a bunch of war machines, but instead of making them into the kit, I made them into these like the string of barricades. So like the carriage and the cannons were actually made into like a wall. So I got that, but then dwarves were my first miniature love. That was my first real army that I actually like fully painted the whole thing. I played it in a couple tournaments, not just local little ones.
Did you get money?
I didn't get any money, but I did get the giant Citadel tool set that came with like the clippers and a little hobby blade and like this bone saw for freaking metal and resin models that you can't cut, and they got all this big chunk of flash that's like bigger than the model. You gotta saw the thing off. Came with that, all in a nice big hard case. So that was neat. That wasn't for the tournament. Yeah, that was actually for the painting contest in the tournament, because I'm not. Everyone here in the office can attest. I'm not great at the games. I am familiar with them, but I'm a much better painter than a gamer. So.
It's also
than a strategist.
To hear how much like the hobby has actually changed since even you were starting with it. That's like insane to me, because that doesn't feel like such a long time. And like my dad painted minis when he was younger too. So like the fact that it's been around that long and you've actually lived through your own big changes is fascinating. And now I feel old. Well,
that's the thing. It's like it's weird, getting to that age where it's like, oh yeah, this is old school now. That's like was just how it was then. It's funny how there's still a lot of great rank and file army scale systems, but the number of skirmish scale games out there now is there's a lot more of them made, a lot of cool indie games for wargaming, and just like the pace of play. Like I think the scale of things like Warhammer 40K, Kings of War, like all the big army scale games is really cool and appealing in a way. But I also like these systems now. They're a little snappier. You can paint up a handful of models really cool and just get them on the table and play a game, you know, over the time it takes to have a meal with somebody, you know. So that, you know,
Well,
it's cool how it changes.
That's kind of been part of our principles as we're trying to push into war game, like terrain in general. Is that like, yeah, we want to help both sides, like the bigger, you know, like you say, the bigger army battles as well as the small skirmish stuff. We want to have stuff that like helps cultivate that idea of what you just talked about, where it's like, yeah, just quick play,
Yeah.
be able to just like come over for a night, have a good time, play with all these pieces in a box, and then walk away. And you know that's not like, you know, a whole day's affair just to set up.
Yeah, but and that's a good point. And also, as a painter primarily, it's fun to have different kinds of projects where like the idea of designing a paint scheme to speed paint an army really fast. Because at first, I didn't get through these armies because I was like, they're all going to have the highest amount of detail. Turns out painting 50 to 100 models at that level is not fun. But to just get something that like it looks really good on the table and it's like it's fun to experiment with like efficiency, and that's cool. And then skirmish games allow you to like, you know, like here I painted my Relic Blade models 2 or 3 hours at a time for one model. It's like, it's served better by those games.
You know, we talked about this last week, or it may have been the week before, but like animation has a similar principle, right? Like when they're doing character design, when you're actually making the character models that you're about to then have to skin throughout your entire animated show, the more complicated the design, the more time it's going to take to draw. Also, the more complicated it's going to be for every animator to then like, okay, how does it look in a 360? Because that's what you have to think. It's like, yeah, straight on, these pauldrons look awesome, but then it's like, oh, I didn't think about how it was gonna have to look gonna look weird, you know. So it's like, it's interesting, like how much, and that's like same thing for like comic books or things that like then get put into animation. How they have to like, okay, how do we simplify this character's design to actually better match what we need to do with it?
Right. And I'm gonna
that's what it made me think of, was that idea of like, I got to make a simplified army scheme no matter how cool I want them to look. I can make them look cool, but it has to be something that I can do for 50 of them. And then I'll take 3 guys, and then those guys are the ones who get all the, you know, the bells and whistles.
Well, and having that different lens on it made me learn different things and different, like, experiment with different stuff. Like, I found out I really like the way I only highlighted things that you would see from the front, because normally it's viewed from your opponent looking at it from the front, right? So I would only like highlight stuff from this view, and I wouldn't even worry about stuff like back here at all. You know, and it turned out really sweet. And even in photos, you're taking it like this, right? And it's like, okay, if you're like, hey, the back's not as highlighted as the front, well, something else is wrong then at that point. You know, so
it reminds me of like, there's this, I forget what it is, but there is this like advice a lot of artists follow where they'll try to do exactly the same thing but change, like, that's so like the art of mastering drawing I've learned is find one thing, draw it 100 times, draw it 1,000 times, draw it 10,000 times, and you'll find new ways to use it, become a better artist. And it reminds me of that a lot. And then also having the creative ability to like in between each, it like you finally understand your restraints enough. Yeah, you get tired of it, but then that gives you the extra edge to be like, okay, well, I want to jazz it up. I'm tired of doing pink all the time. I want camouflage, that kind of thing.
Another thing that I've learned through like painting, drawing, because that's a lot of what I spend my time. Like if I'm watching videos, I'm either watching like Matt Colville or Adventuring Academy. If I'm watching like videos about stuff like to help me learn how to be a better DM, or I'm watching stuff about art or like film stuff. And so some of the art people that I like listening to, it's that the greatest lie you can tell yourself is, I shouldn't look at reference, I should just be able to imagine it. And it's like, no, take that thing up and do it, because why hurt yourself? Yeah, this is a thing that exists. Like, do it. As well as like there was a thing that happened where it's like if you use triangles more than you use circles, your thing is going to look more dynamic.
That's interesting.
It's crazy.
I do like to think about sometimes color placement in triangles, like, or different shapes at least. Like for instance, there's like 3 zones of this gold and bronze on this miniature, and they kind of like make some sort of line in relation to like where the other colors are placed in a square, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When you're just deciding where the separation is going to be, it can help. A couple things I got from what you guys said. To Mace's point, I think that's why I learn more when I take a whole miniature or anything I'm doing all the way to the end, all the way through, and then start a new one, as opposed to like repainting something or stopping and putting it aside and coming back. Like that can teach you different things, but just to go all the way through a miniature, start to finish, and so you know what you had in your head at the start and what the result was, and then like applying it to something brand new, as opposed to just kind of fiddling with the same thing forever.
Are you trying to drop hints at me that I shouldn't continuously work on Hatchet?
Well, no, so now that's been so long since then where you could definitely like have those fresh eyes on it, I think. But it's hard to like, and trust me, from going through iterations on a Dwarven Forge piece, if you look at the same thing too long, you start going nuts and you can't even evaluate it that well.
It's like what Chris just said about his Philip piece, right? Like you're like, I'm already looking at places where my color got, like not exactly all the way where I wanted it to, but I like this thing, and this thing still looks great. Like it was great then, it's still great now, and sometimes that's a psychological thing you have to like make yourself remember.
Yeah. Oh, and also you're talking about references. And first of all, always use a freaking reference. Like anything that can help. It's not like cheating. Some people think using an airbrush is cheating. Sometimes think certain things are. Nothing is. Whatever gets you to your result.
Yeah, like speaking of like looking at references all the time, it's like, have you ever seen those videos on YouTube where like people try to remember things, like draw things from memory?
Yeah.
Like even if it's the most obvious thing, you just forget some of the most like.
Right. And even when we're designing pieces at work here, we have a bunch of reference images that we're pulling from, being inspired by, Yeah. And to that point, I would suggest, if for miniature painting, using references that aren't painted miniatures, because then you're gonna be referring to like how someone else did an effect, as opposed to looking at the result you want and figuring out how you would do it, and you're gonna get a better sort of by figuring it out, like A to C sort of, you're gonna be able to know your own process better when you get to the end.
It's interesting too, like some of those same artists that I like listening to, or like or like we talk about art in general, are talking about the fact that it's like, hey, pick somebody that you really like what they do in their work, and say, is that what you want to do with yours? Because if it is, then that's the thing to study, is to say like, okay, how did they draw this line? Or like I guess in my case, right? Like, but for painting minis, it's sort of like, how did they shade this thing? Or like, how do they do this? But then in your references, when you're trying to do the thing, don't look at their, like you just said, it's like, don't look at their stuff, look at something else, like look at a real thing, or look at how light actually refracts off of certain things or whatever. So that way you're learning how the real thing happens, but you're trying, like you said, you're trying to get to the C step. You're trying to get to like, but this is what they did, and I can tell that's what they did.
Right. And yeah, it's really great to look at like YouTube videos. There's so much content on YouTube for miniature painting and art. First of all, look at traditional art videos. They're going to help your miniature painting too. Like all the fundamentals are going to help you. But learn and absorb that. But when you're like putting it to your medium, look at a different medium. Look at photographs. Look at traditional 2D paintings. Look at drawings. Like look at art in your fantasy books that you like. Sometimes I try to paint in the style of like another painter. Like what is the ambiance that they have, and like how like that gives their thing an attitude, and not just like colors and values. Like even beyond that, like I think
Yeah.
just trying to translate those things is going to help you when you want to translate something from your imagination or from a reference. You'll be able to do it across more stuff.
Chris, you were saying something, Chris.
At this point, it is such a distant reference to the conversation that was being had.
Oh.
Mace was saying like to do one thing over and over again and get like really good at that. I was gonna say one of my favorite quotes is the I fear, not the man who's practiced 10,000 punches once, but the man who's practiced one punch 10,000 times.
Yeah.
One Punch Man.
Yeah, I was going to be like, one punch there, but
Yeah, that's how that story works, right? That's
the
the
punch.
All right, let's see. 46:25. I think a record for how long I've sat here and talked instead of doing any painting at all.
Nice.
It's called Hamster Hobby Hang.
Hamster Hobby.
You're doing the,
Hamster Hobby Hang.
you're just getting the hanging part of it out of the way early.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
I love hearing you talk, man, especially about this stuff.
Well, obviously it's.
I never knew that you did that. Like, I never knew that grandma story.
I never knew
Oh,
you
yeah.
painted.
Grandma story.
Yeah. Chris, I remember specifically as a joke, you look at me and be like, "You should do this professionally." Like when I was already working at Dwarven Forge.
The dad joke of.
Yeah.
Oh. But that's the same way I learned how to do
Yeah.
any of the stuff I learned how to do, which was my cousins and my older brother. We just hung out all the time. Because I got so many siblings, and then I have a big family that like when we would have big holidays or whatever, and we all lived within like 2 hours of each other. Not only that, like it's like we would hang out on holidays, we'd hang out on weekends. And so we would just constantly be playing games or video games, or like, I know that they played a lot of Magic, and that was my first introduction to Magic, which was like looking at the cards. I'm like, well, these look cool. They're like, yeah, come try and play with us, Tyler. I was like, no, I'm good. Like,
No, yeah.
That's me and Pokemon cards.
What's
as a
that?
kid. That's me and Pokemon cards as a kid. I never played it. I just you get them to look at. Yeah.
It's like, no. I just like to look. Thank you.
I bought a bunch of cards.
I think I actually played the Pokemon card game maybe twice, but I still collected a lot of the cards. Like, I wanted to collect them for reasons other than playing the game. Like, it was an attachment to those characters more than
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I never played the game. I had owned a bunch of these cards for how long, and I saw people playing. I was like, what are these beads they're using? They gave you like little bead counters. I was like, what the heck? They're flipping coins and throwing beads around? This isn't a card game?
No, Desticon, paying someone else to paint your minis is not cheating. And
it's business.
Toby, he's asking, is that Chavant clay or is that Monster clay?
This is Monster Clay. Yeah. This is hard Monster Clay. Oil.
Yeah, Shavant sounds real fancy.
It does.
Chavant.
What is Siobhan? No.
Maybe it's because it sounds
Nice.
close to Savant.
Throwback.
God. One of the greatest moments in Dwarven Forge history was Chris's belch in the Monday morning meeting video call.
It's so good.
I just
2 days ago or 2 weeks ago.
yeah, 2 weeks ago, still one of my fondest memories of the company.
It was awesome.
It was freaking awesome.
I feel like it was also our first meeting back. It was like our first meeting back from
No, it
Christmas
wasn't. I
break
think
or
it wasn't.
something like that. It was crazy.
No. It was the last time we had a 3-day weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we'd all been back for a while, and just the way that, you know what, it just happened so apparently, and no one reacted. Just, there was kind of a silence, and Nate was kind of like, I think he just said, oh, and then he kept going.
You did say, oh, you're... My favorite is Nate was the only one with his camera on.
Yes, so he just kind of stopped.
He didn't react. It's
And-
like his face was just like... He's so confused by what just happened.
It was so
He just didn't address it. He just moved on.
it was silent, so nobody really
Yeah.
But everybody like knew it was Chris. It's awesome. It was like, I don't know if it was on purpose or on accident, but it was.
It was on
work of art.
purpose. Chris,
It
it
was
was
the
on
movie.
purpose. It's like who puts B-movie backgrounds on meetings for attention.
Oh man,
geez.
that was
Oh, that
awesome.
was, you know, that was
On purpose.
no.
No, it makes perfect sense to me because I remember him explaining to me at some point how his mic is set up, where it's only there's like gates on it to transmit like when he's speaking, right? But he pumped out this sucker that was as loud as him talking, so that mic opened up wide open, you know.
I messaged everyone at work immediately because I felt like I was
I didn't
in,
know
like,
about
a
this
weird,
until you
like-
mentioned it, because I apparently somehow missed it.
I messaged you in that group thing, but like I thought I had imagined the whole thing, or it was something wrong with my Skype because I was like, nobody said anything. So I messaged, the first thing I did, I messaged Casey because I'm like, Casey would like
Well, cool.
understand.
Who was gonna?
We went
who
on
was
a
gonna
witch
say
hunt.
anything? Was
Right.
was gonna be like, well, before we move on, I want to address the point that Chris brought up.
Right?
May I add?
I was sitting there muted, laughing out loud, just cackling for like 2 minutes.
Sounding in space, and I heard it, and I was like,
Affectionately so. I was just
Yeah.
going off on
The
mute.
amount
Like,
of times I've cried laughing because of
yes.
far too proud.
I-
Like it's probably the most I've cried about anything, happy or sad.
I laugh out loud just thinking of it by myself alone. I just remember it and I'll laugh out loud.
isn't that great?
It was such like it was such like an unnotable like part of my life. that I don't ever think about it, but then half the time when I'm around Mace, she brings it up. I don't know if I'm more or less happy about that being the thing that I'm associated with instead of deception.
Yes, it has almost overshadowed that.
I am.
yeah,
pumped.
definitely. Oh my
I'm
god.
Pagliacci. I am Pagliacci. Famous Russian clown. Pagliacci.
That was my favorite because Mace it was Mace, wasn't it?
Yes, Mace was there, and we were exhausted. I can't remember why. Was it
And
during
It
Wildlife?
was
Yeah,
during
it was-
Kickstarter, and I had a lot of work to do.
Yeah. But we waited too, but we were just waiting. We were waiting to get to the next step. And then we made a dumb
It was
Russian
either-
version of the
You were
Pagliacci joke.
waiting by my desk with nobody
Yeah,
else
but
there.
then you didn't know the joke. You didn't know the
I know.
core
And
Pagliacci joke.
I think about that a lot too, because I was like, was it a Poggers joke? Like before it was like not Poggers, you know? Like Poggerliachi or
Wait.
something.
Poggers Liachi.
I have made that joke on Twitter. I've had a Twitch streamer goes into he goes and like talk. It's the same setup, but yeah, it's Pagliacci instead, and it's spelled like Pog.
Can I ask a very ignorant question?
What's up?
I keep hearing it, but what is poggers?
What is Poggers? Man,
We got a video to send you, honestly.
It's one of the spawns of just internet and Twitch culture.
Yeah.
I know like people's talk like I
No,
reference
no.
it a lot or mention it, but I don't know what it means.
You've been on Twitch, yeah? You've seen people post the picture, the emote of that guy going like,
Yeah.
Probably
That's
not.
fa-
I
Don't
don't
worry,
know.
now we all got it. Yeah, you take your clips, everybody.
you've seen that? That's the PogChamp emote. Oh, you gotta be on camera. That's the PogChamp emote.
Poggers is the long and short of it is it was just a positive thing. It was just like a
Well, okay, so those emotes have a word code that it puts the emote in the chat, and then it became part of the thing to just like say the word linked to the emote like in speech. And so instead of like to express verbally the attitude of the emote, they would say the word, and now it's just like vernacular
I
among
see.
streamers and people. Yeah. Okay, so there's a question about getting a job at Dwarven Forge and things like that, and honestly, every single person in the office, I think, like, started as a temporary thing that was like, you know, a 1 month thing. I started as a 1 month, and then you just kind of stay.
Well, I mean, like,
It's just a
what
stroke of
somebody
luck.
what somebody else said was also, you know, veritably to the truth, is that it's like, well, when there's openings, yes, as well as when we have a need to be filled.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah, but there's not a lot of like advertised openings. There's like,
no.
there's kind of just like, we kind of need a person. Like, Aaron was the only, I'm just talking about my case. Aaron was the only painter, and we had a Kickstarter's worth of prototypes, and I spent a month just base coating them. They were like, we need a painter. I had done hobbyist painting. I heard about it through a friend of a friend, and I went and did a paint test, and I base coated pieces for a month, and then that was it. But then they said, do you paint miniatures? I said, well, that's all I painted. They're like, all right, stay on for a little bit longer, paint some miniatures. All right, stay on for the Kickstarter. And then like a year passed, and I was still like, I was still waiting to get let go. I was like, when's my time up? And now it's been 3 years.
I like when you're like, after the Kickstarter, it's like, okay, so you're going to be working on the website now.
Well, right, they're like, all right, well, we're done with the Kickstarter. What the heck are you going to do? Have you designed an entire website? I'm like, let's start. So, like, it's an odd thing where you start on one small thing, and you start doing a number of other things until, like, you start kind of making your own work, and then you have to stay because you're the person that does those things.
Yeah, it's usually it's very chaotic. It's not,
Yeah.
We generally don't do the standard like posting a thing on Craigslist or
Right.
or Monster or anything like that.
We've been doing that more recently when we need to hire.
That's how we got Letitia.
And Casey and me.
So yeah, things like that they did, but especially when it was really small. Like when I got there, the office, we had remote people, but the office was like 6 or 7 people in a room.
Yeah, we're still like 20 people.
20 or less, yeah. We're still very small, but like,
We're not,
And that's like including the creative team and also the like all the administrative people who
Yeah.
take care of like business stuff and like website and stuff like that.
yeah.
yeah, Gilda makes
I
a
mean,
good point. I'm sure a lot of small companies are kind of like this. Like when they need someone, you know, you plug people in as you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's the dream, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
the dream of smaller companies or companies in general is, well, okay, now we need to fit this role. Do we have someone? No. Okay, let's get someone. And that's just, you know, and then as it works out, it continues to work. And when it doesn't work, that's usually why businesses fail. So
Yeah,
just keep working it.
I was literally they needed somebody to edit build of the month, and so Selena asked me if I could edit build of the month, so then I was doing that every month. And then she was going to be gone during Hellscape, and so then I came in to do the video work during Hellscape, and then I liked the people and I liked working there, so I convinced them that they needed to start streaming so that I could do that. And then I started picking up other random stuff as well. It became a thing of like, okay, well, I'm interested in what people... I'm intensely worried about what people are saying about me all the time, so I just applied that to Dwarven Forge, and so now I pay attention to the forums and see what people are saying about our stuff and everything, and just kind of try to keep us like on the pulse of how people are feeling about our stuff and all that. And yeah, it's like a combination of, oh god, we need somebody to do this. Does anybody know anybody who does this? And then being like, hey, I think I have something to offer. Like, let me do this for you. And they look at it and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, as of recent, it hasn't been much of, does anybody know someone that can do this?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Even in the few years I've been here, you make a good point. Like the company has definitely transformed. So it'll be interesting, like how we grow from here, because I think we're definitely in like a new version of Dwarven Forge. But
Yeah.
up to this point, it has been like really kind of on the fly that way.
It's
I'm probably the
crazy.
most on the fly one. Like, not even on the fly. We're just random. Like,
Right.
I don't even know why they even let me start there. Like, I didn't do any sculpting before this. I didn't know what I can offer. I just wanted it like look cool. I wanted it like, and I knew someone who like knew Stefan, and I was like, oh, can I go see? And it's like, and then like next thing is like, oh, so you're gonna be practicing sculpting and like you can do all this. Like what? Okay, I don't know how to do this, but I learned.
Yep.
Yeah, even Nate literally got his job by being like, man, I love the stuff that Dwarven Forge makes, and he just contacted them and he was like, hey, your videos are very bad. Let me fix them. And like that was like his connection, was saying he was gonna help them like make better video content. And now he's like the guy.
And he was part-time. He had a whole other job. He was just doing videos on and off, and then became more and more invested, started doing other stuff, and now he's where he's at, you know?
Until the beginning of KS6, yeah, he was like he would come in office like once a week or something like that.
Man.
I mean, that's, yeah. I started by just being a PA or putting away pieces, as someone else has described. And I, you know, I don't know. I guess it's just it's that aptitude thing, right? Like you gravitate towards the stuff you care about and excel at. Like when Mace does the social stuff, I'm like, yeah, that really works because this is a person who cares about social stuff, and I would be a terrible person to do that. And I think that was one of the fun parts about like talking to Nate or just our culture of our office right now in general is being able to be around you guys or just kind of talk to Janet or Letitia or Nina, especially for my first year when we were all in the office anyway, you know, like when we were all together all the time, like it's that thing where you can walk up to somebody and talk to them about something and just learn a new aspect or learn a new thing entirely, and it was just kind of fun. Like I remember some of my first conversations with Joanna were very enlightening, and so I guess that's my thing with it all, is that it's like as much as we have been able to be super specialized, the nice part is that we do get to lean on each other in some ways, and we get to talk to each other about stuff and say like, hey, I'm wanting to work on this thing, I think it could work like this, and then somebody else says, oh, did you know you could do this? And if you didn't know, great, you just learned a new thing to do, and either they'll show you or I don't know. I guess our little culture of an office is nice. It's
Yeah, especially when you're learning something to do in the context of Dwarven Forge, because like it's one thing to know something like your original skill, but then to like learn the animal of Dwarven Forge and like how it operates, how Kickstarter season goes, and post and pre Kickstarter, like the trajectory of a year at Dwarven Forge, it's like to learn all that is a whole other thing.
It was very eye-opening for me, for sure. There was a lot of things that in August while it was going on, I was like, never again.
Oh yeah, every Kickstarter I'm like, this is my last one. I'm freaking quit. I'm done with it.
I mean, like we're never doing it like this again.
Oh right. No, I have those moments where I'm like, I have the cursing cartoon symbols above in my speech bubble, right? Frickin' shut up.
Yeah.
And then when the Kickstarter's over, I was like, man, that was great. This turned out pretty good.
The Kickstarter is actually my favorite part of the job, which is probably weird, but like I authentically like really enjoy the Kickstarter atmosphere and like that entire beast.
Yeah, I'm just also kind of used to just like the like just cramming and like working really hard for a long period of time at one period of the year. It's like it just reminds me of like architecture finals back in school. Yeah, it's kind of exciting.
You know what? And I'll clarify. I've only felt the way during this Kickstarter when most of my work time was by myself in my dark room and not with the team. And then as soon as other people saw it and, you know, we were all reacting to it and showing it off to you guys, all the fans, like, that is super rewarding and satisfying.
Well, I think...
But but to what you're saying, you know, of course, like, when it's busy and stuff like that, some stuff gets chaotic. That's really frustrating. So I wasn't trying to say, like, no, you're wrong.
No, for sure.
Yeah, it's both, like,
it's why it's
frustrating. Like busyness, but I hate sometimes the chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes for sure.
I talked about that quite a bit, Toby, too, where it's just sort of like, yeah, sometimes there's those.
We got a raid.
Oh,
hey, thank you, Band of Badgers.
But yeah, we've talked about it a couple times where it's just like, yeah, this could just get frustrating and it gets left to the side or something like that, and we just got to recollect and like realign, and then we push forward. And I think the other thing too is, yeah, like that's actually probably, I think as anyone else is probably feeling, is the social, what is it,
the social part of like the workplace atmosphere is a really tough thing to be missing.
Well, that's what I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that like us missing that part of our workforce, or sorry, of our workspace, is hard. I think I think a lot of us are not necessarily everybody's we're a mix of extroverts and introverts, right? Like, but because of that, we do feed off of each other in certain ways like that. So it's just sort of like, I know that I definitely miss just walking over to Letitia's desk and like saying something like just ridiculous for half a second, and her being like, "Are you just possessed?" That was one of my favorite days. Was like, I walked over and I said something super inane. She's like, "I feel like you're just like possessed by a weird demon or something." Like, it provokes you to say weird stuff sometimes.
That reminds me of
what I said though. I don't. I just think it was just the day that was fun.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Hey, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, we are all based. We do have some remote people, but like most of us are in Brooklyn, or at least in New York. But
I wish I was in Brooklyn. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not commuting now, but that commute that sucked.
Hamsters in Brooklyn.
Brickland? I do have some natural brick over here.
Oh, exposed.
Exposed. They're gonna dox me, dude. My brick has been exposed.
He's in a New York apartment with exposed brick.
Yeah. I'm in an old building with brick.
Find it.
They get on they get on Zillow and like apartments.
Yeah. Thousands of listings.
300,000 apartments.
Most of them in Brooklyn. No.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually, my very first apartment was around the corner from Dwarven Forge, and I don't think it was located there when I lived there, but our current office is right by Roberta's, right around the corner. Man, that would have been insane. I just wake up 5 minutes before the Monday meeting. I'm like, "What's up, guys?"
You live in the same building as Stefan. You're essentially were his neighbor.
Yeah. He probably lived there when I was there. He lived there for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, he was there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I met a waiter who had Stefan as a regular.
Oh, wow.
And I met him at it was a random encounter. It was a bar encounter where I had been sitting down drawing, because that's usually what I do if I could go out by myself, or even just like hang out. Like, that's what I did in the West, right? Like, I don't know. I like to draw, and I like to draw everywhere. But like, I was sitting at the bar, and like other people were like, "Hey, can we join your table? Is that okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I got this whole table to myself. Like, why not?" And so they were really cool. And then they had more friends show up, and one of those guys, I think that night I had been wearing my Dwarven Forge shirt.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Dwarven Forge, I like that. Yeah, and yeah, that's a good company. I was like, yeah, I work for him. And they were like, oh, really? So you know Stefano. And that's how you know the guy actually knows.
Which bar was it?
Was that?
Which bar was it?
Oh, it's like closed now. it's
I paused a second, because then I realized there's no point of asking what bar because
yeah, it's like, oh, I'm
I
gonna
know
find
someone's
him.
regulars,
I'm gonna
but-
talk to him. I'm gonna hunt this guy down.
Okay, guys, he works in a bar in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I know. I realized that. I was like, wow, that was a really silly question.
Yeah, and yeah, if someone knows the company during Kickstarter time, they'll usually approach me because I'm almost always wearing Dwarven Forge shirts because laundry doesn't happen. So I have, hundreds of these shirts. I'm like, this is somewhat clean.
That's a really weird way to phrase that, but I love it.
And they always know
doesn't
you,
happen.
and they always know you work there because it's the only way to get a Dwarven Forge shirt.
Right.
True that.
Yeah, just anybody who wants to. No, I shouldn't say that.
Wear the shirt, get a job. Wait, other way around. Crap.
I was gonna say, if you want a Dwarven Forge shirt, just private message Hamster.
Yeah, plenty of them. Don't question the smell.
if you ever like run low on money, you could just sell those shirts. A lot of people like really want them.
Hey ho ha!
Let's see. What's happening here? Okay.
What is happening?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out. So I'm doing a fun trick with the base of this piece, where it has Let me switch to the detail cam.
Ooh.
So I'm working on this bishop, and he has a base with like a runic circle. Oh god, a runic circle in it.
Nice.
So I covered it all with like
Whoa.
a translucent like glowy yellow, and I'm going over and dry brushing like the stone over it. And it's starting to pop kind of, but I don't have all the circles. Some of it like got filled in, so I gotta redo it. But yeah.
That's sweet.
Working in the coal mines. I don't know why he was so excited about it.
He really was.
Yeah, I gotta go back into the coal mine.
Oh, sweet! Oh my gosh, this is my favorite game.
Just mining simulator. But I guess there actually are a lot of games like that.
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Or like truck driver.
Spelunky.
Oh, Spelunky, sure, yeah. What were you saying, Mace?
Like truck simulator. Like just
Truck simulator is so
mundane,
good.
It's
vocational,
really weird how
banality.
relaxing Truck Simulator is.
Yeah, truck
I get
simulator
it.
is real good.
That's like it's like driving. Driving's really relaxing too.
That's why I like sailing. If they had a sail simulator, I'd play that.
They probably do.
Don't lie to
I
me.
guarantee they have that.
I didn't
Lie
say
to me. Don't do it.
Chat. Find a sailing simulator. I'm sure it exists.
Are you using chat like Siri?
Chat, find bars in Brooklyn.
Chat. How fast can elks run?
How fast can they run?
Little inside joke from our game.
Yeah.
Did you paint that elk?
I did.
Nice.
Have you never seen the elk?
I guess he hasn't seen the elk.
I don't think I have yet. Maybe back when you painted it, but I don't quite remember.
I mean, he may have posted it in Slack a long time ago, but like, it was a while ago.
This
that
is
you
my
painted it.
this is my paladin's steed.
Oh, nice. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know what could be cool? A little dry brush on him, like a very, very small, like light brown dry brush or something.
Yeah.
Just do better, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Because he looks rad.
5.8 feet a second? Yeah.
Nice.
No.
Wait.
Don't go faster than that. 24 yards per rooster breath.
All right.
There is one on Kickstarter. 40 miles per gallon.
Per gallon? See, this is what happens when you use chat. To be fair, G is right next to H on the keyboard.
Oh,
But MPG is
oh God.
choice.
Oh.
Miles per gallon. That's funny.
It's like making drink.
Yeah.
I'm getting great mileage on this elk.
So that's the thing. So that's the
Nice.
thing that we ran into was it was like, okay, well, if you're, like you can generally go like 5 miles an hour walking. And so I was like, okay, what if I'm riding my elk? And he's like, oh, I'll give you like 10. I'm like, elks can run faster than 10 miles an hour. And I looked it up, and they're fast. He's like, and he's like, yeah, well, they can't run that speed the whole time. And I like looked it up. I'm like, no, it says here on the biology section of Wikipedia, they can run around 40 miles per hour for extended periods of time. Their bursts of speed are like 60 miles an hour. They can't keep that up. Elks are fast.
So you're
That's
telling me
insane.
that they can run a mile a minute?
Yes.
Yeah, can't
And
you?
Yeah, I mean, like that tracks for me.
I heard elf. Oh yeah, not elf. Elk.
Got some fast elves.
My half orc paladin isn't riding an elf. It's
It reminds me of one where there was this thing that said lions can jump 21 feet. And that
Nice.
sounds like it can jump upwards 21 feet.
Just
Yeah. So it means leap, leap. So
yeah. That's so good. I would love just this lion just. Animal
Are
Kingdom
you
is
double
weird.
checking my work? No, I'm not double checking it. I was asking you because what you did was, yeah, you confirmed what I told him, and he didn't believe me. I was like, my elk can run faster than 10 miles an hour.
Wait, can they really run a mile a minute?
Well, it's 40 miles per hour, and then if they burst speed, which is faster than that, it's probably not much more than.
Yeah, if they use their burst ability.
They use their
Huh.
burst. Yeah, because I mean they're prey. Like they have to be able to like
They have to
escape.
yeah.
what if you inject it with steroids and give it the gas? So
What if
you
I
have to
haste
have
my
the
elk?
You put the
miles per hour,
knob.
miles per gallon, and steroids.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should put
Can it
a
run for an
jet
hour
engine
though?
on your
Probably.
That's my point. Can it run 40 miles an hour for an hour?
They said they can run for hours at a time. If they're at their comfortable speeds,
Mm.
you know.
Comfortable speed would be 20. 40 would be your
Comfortable
pushing.
speed was 40.
So you can
Hold on,
see-
you know what? Let's settle this. Any elks in chat?
I don't make the rules. I just interpret them.
What are you saying there, Hamster?
I said, let's just settle this right now. Any elks in chat?
Yeah, do we got any elks that can settle this debate? I know we got rabbits. Actually, yeah, rabbit. Do you have any first-hand experience? You know any?
Well, guys,
Oh,
it's 7:16, 7:17.
mark it.
Mark it.
You know what time it is.
It's howdy doody time.
It's party.
Kind of.
It's
Actually,
party time.
Kind of.
Hey, NPC.
Time for the pants party.
It's bathroom.
Hippo says MPG is used for their water speed. How many miles of displaced gallons of water do they create? They part the sea.
Well, in Valheim, that's what we're learning is that the deer and the elk definitely go into the water and try to swim away from you, and they're like, nah, I can't. So in that way, they are not running their top speed, sir. So we can't trust Valheim.
Email the
If they're-
devs.
Water?
No, I'm saying in that game they don't run 40 miles an
Okay, but what is their flying speed?
hour.
I've been watching streams of that. It looks pretty fun.
Special hat time. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Jarrett's. How you doing? Right? I guess actually Jarrett would just be the name.
Did you say Jarrett's?
Yeah. Well, it's Jarrett's Terrain Minis. Press E to invoke Elk Fear and use 63% of their normal stamina. When it hits E on their gas tank, it just activates Elk Fear.
Holy! Man, Battlefield 1942 was really,
Yes.
it was really fun.
Battlefield 1942 is extremely good.
Like that
Great
was the
game.
game that happens and I land all the time. We
Like,
still
yeah,
do.
as far as shooters go, like, yeah, that was
Classic.
Because it was also so goofy. It was just like like again, like the whole E thing was that we would do this maneuver because it was capture the flag. You do this maneuver where one person gets into a plane and starts flying that plane towards the other flag. So another person gets into a Jeep and drives that Jeep as fast as they can to that flag. And then the plane will basically just kind of like try to skirt around for a little while, and then the person gets out of the car and then like has to hide to try to like get the flag. And so you change the flag to your side, and then you just bolt, you sprint, and then the other person as you're basically about to get the flag, flies down in the plane and gets as low to the ground as you can. And so you hold E, and so if you time it right, you go into the plane and then you just take back off.
Oh my gosh. That sounds
It
amazing.
never worked.
But you know what? You know what? Some things never change. Even in later Battlefield games, you're just like storming planes and helicopters like into the ground at people. You know?
Dude, it was so much fun though, because it was that. It was just like, we gotta see if this tactic works.
Yeah.
And it worked maybe a handful of times. Never worth the amount of times we tried it. So.
But when it did work, you had a story.
And that was it.
And when it didn't work, you had a story.
And that was also that.
Uh,
And it was good.
just painting along? Well, you found the right use for this stream. This is a regular thing. I think this is your first time here. This is a regular thing we do every Thursday. Both an excuse to keep us and the Dwarven Forge community that watches
Honest.
painting.
Oh, thank
Keep
you.
them honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honest.
Keep 'em honest.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like it's a thing that always happens. It's always a thing where it's like, ah, man, I got this pile of shame, I got so much stuff I need to paint. And I just never make the time, so we blocked out an hour, or a couple hours every week, to be like, alright, no, just work on something with this time. And
I
so-
have
And, yeah.
What's up, Mace?
how are you able to write while you're also talking with everyone?
How was I able to write and talk?
Isn't that what you said you were working on?
His next adventure has a lot of elks right now.
I mean, that's. I mean, like for me, I don't know. I guess I just have that ability, but like
Huh.
more times than not, what I'm usually doing in these first steps is I'm making bullet points, and so I'm just doing the rough. I'm just doing some rough ideas, and then
Okay.
if I actually have to like write it out, yeah, I would need a little bit more focus.
He's just prepping the session based on whatever we say in this chat.
Tyler,
Oh,
keep the
okay,
elks
that's
in.
fun.
Well, the elk's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Actually, Private Flanagan is one of my favorite characters. One of my favorite NPCs.
We literally named him after a Sean Connery character. So,
So obviously that's the voice he has as well.
yes. He,
Monster fella.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, back when we were doing like really dumb stuff with the game instead of like taking our characters seriously.
I don't know. I feel like that. Here's my thing. The dumb stuff is what makes the later stuff matter.
Yeah, it gives the growth and everything. But like, I
Not
definitely
only growth, but it rounds out a thing to more than like. I was listening to this again, like Adventuring Academy. Brendan Lee Mulligan was saying this, and so has B-Dave Walters. Just basically like if you have this one tone for 100 hours, you get tired of it.
yeah.
You need levity. That's why games, when they get goofy, you should embrace it, because it's like that's the players needing a break from grimdark or something, right? Like if you're constantly hitting them with that kind of stuff, like it's going to be harder to appreciate.
Unfortunately, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, so there's no escaping grim dark. But
You should make a goofy Warhammer.
just like Chibi Warhammer. It's like Warhammer, but it's all Chibi models or like amiibos.
Did you ever see Gundam ST?
Amiibo Warhammer.
Yeah, war game with amiibos.
Oh, it's so good.
I haven't seen a lot of Gundam actually.
I think it is from The Longest Day. I literally just looked up a list of Sean Connery's roles and looked for the name that I thought sounded the funniest.
There, Happy Hamster.
Ah, there you go.
Oh my god, we don't have Snake.
Wow, look at that. Metal Gear Snake versus a team of Pokemon.
Snake. Snake.
Jared has a good point. I thought that was Blood Bowl. So Blood Bowl is like the literal fantasy football game, and it's pretty much just like what the
That was pretty cool.
English people thought of American football. Just like this brutish like battle game.
I remember seeing art for that game. I never played it.
Yeah, I didn't get into that one. I mean, it was mostly because I had too many miniatures as it is, so. I had some Lord of the Rings miniatures, too, which I recently got back into. Gotta
So you're
paint
saying
those,
you want
too.
us to buy it for you?
Yes, buy me another game.
Jay, we need important research to be purchased.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy to write off like all my miniature purchases as on my taxes.
Yeah.
Just technically, like the Reaper order. Part of the reason I got like $500 of Reaper stuff was so that we would have minis for the games that we do on stream.
Definitely.
Because we don't have many minis at the office.
Meow.
It's a convenient excuse at least.
Yes. Oh, that's right. I already put.
Oh yeah, that's how I've justified all my miniatures purchases. We'll use these at some point.
Miniatures purchases.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially as we expand the content on this channel and try new weird things, we need more resources.
Yeah.
And so I look at the painting as adding to the resources that we have. Especially with this big game, like we don't know what we're gonna end up throwing out in this game next week. So the wider variety of minis I already have painted on hand, the less work we have to do last minute. Pump for Bones
Good
5.
point.
I'm excited for it to come. We can also call it market research, though, is the thing. Like, even if we buy the stuff, we can say, like, that's because we're wanting to see, like, yeah, what are other people making right now? Because it affects our market and all that. It does.
And all that.
Am I lying?
No.
It's like why actors can write off seeing movies on their taxes. They're like, it's market research.
And it's
I like
Duncan and Chunkin.
Toby's got. This is his
Oh,
Oh,
crap.
the whole.
It's
Oh, the tail is just right in front of the camera.
This is great.
Tyler's rabid.
Oh boy.
I hate sitting on the floor.
What do you need?
Nothing. My back hurts from sitting on the floor.
Oh, what's that?
You heard of chairs?
Your back hurt?
You heard of I'm on my phone and the cord to plug it in is right here. This is the best option I got. You ever heard of Don't Sass Me, I Will Come At You? Like a wild Wolverine.
A wild mace has appeared.
I will kill you. And that is a threat. You can use this in court
You
against.
can't threaten violence on Twitch.
I can. It makes it more legally standing for his side.
Burn the Twitch. Fire on Twitch.
I will end you all.
I don't think I did anything to deserve this.
I didn't do that.
Yeah,
What'd you do?
well, Life's not fair.
Yeah, I know. I watched Malcolm in the Middle.
No.
I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid. Life is a nightmare.
Stereotypical, like, cartoon voice of a child.
Sounds like a Barfay from 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
It's pronounced Barfay. There's an accent aigu. You're not the boss of me now.
It's getting into like weird, like Miss Piggy territory, but sure.
You're not the boss of me now.
It's very good. Brian Henson just had a big interview. Very.
Brian Henson of the Jim Hensons? Oh. Oh.
I realized jokes in the background just. Sorry.
Dang it.
Kermit the Frog. Tyler has the Kermit impression. Now you have to do it. I don't have a good. I don't have a Kermit. I barely have a Piggy. The only reason I can do Miss Piggy is because the only voices I can do are ones that are shrill and annoying. Toad, Piggy.
Oh, Toad's easy though.
Yep. Well. Yep. Thanks.
Sorry.
Got him.
Oh, but you shouldn't be proud of that one.
You should be. Oh, you should be less proud of that than you already are.
Miss Piggy's hard.
Yeah, it's not fun.
How hurry up!
That's the easiest way to get into it, I think. Like, that's like the thing that makes it really easy to get into Miss Piggy.
It makes it really easy to get into Miss Piggy, huh?
Why is that funny? Do you want to explain why that's funny?
Yeah,
Chat?
explain that to the children.
Yeah, you want to explain that to us, Mace?
Explain that to Duncan.
Explain it to Duncan is right there, and you're making these jokes. Do you realize how small that cat is?
I'm sorry, Duncan.
That cat's size cannot handle the joke.
Catch over there.
That cat is too small for you to be using innuendo around it.
Oh, that cat is too old.
Is that a reference to something?
Yeah, over the garden wall.
Oh, yes. I want to steal stuff. Oh, man. Dude, the Over the Garden Wall guy's making a Redwall show.
Yeah,
it's so
very
excited.
exciting.
Oh. Nice.
Speaking of Toad, and then a link to something that Louis Song made.
Oh no.
Yeah. Louis Song's Toad stuff is, always fascinating. But never pleasant.
Hey, it's the title of your memoir. Always fascinating, but never pleasant.
I still can't believe I cannot believe we got Piranha Plant in Smash before Toad.
I cannot believe. Oh, I can't say.
I can't believe we got Piranha Plant in Smash before a new Zelda character.
My favorite thing is there was a picture of Waluigi holding up Piranha Plant, and it's like, oh, guess which character got in Smash?
Toad's in Smash, Peach uses him as a shield. It's not the same! You know it's not the same.
Wait, is Waluigi in Smash? That's what I was gonna ask.
It's not, no.
No.
There's
Why
a large
doesn't anybody
fan
like
trying to get him
Waluigi?
in. Hmm?
What?
Nobody likes Waluigi at the Nintendo Factory Planet Observatory. They
The
like
Nintendo
don't give
Power
him
Plant.
his own games. They don't let him
well,
hang
here's-
out with Mario.
Well, the thing is, he technically wasn't made by Nintendo, so he's already in like a weird territory.
He's
What?
at least
Who made
Mario
him?
Kart games.
He was made by Camelot. Camelot was an outside company that was brought in to make Mario Tennis and Mario Golf, and they invented Waluigi for Mario Tennis because they were like, you know what, Wario should have a Luigi. Like genuinely,
Yeah.
Waluigi was made by an outside company for Mario Tennis.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Okay, but Diddy Kong wasn't made by Nintendo either.
What?
Yeah, but they like owned Rare. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
but
No, they didn't own Rare.
still
Rare
appears
was with them.
just as much in all
The
this.
difference is that he still like became like a lead character in the series, whereas Waluigi has never been outside of like
Yeah.
this party game. So it's a thing where like it's
If you want to get into the lore of the Nintendo,
if you want to get into the lore of Nintendo, well, it's that's like what makes the debate, right? Is it's a thing of
Yeah.
like, well, is he important enough to be in?
Yes.
And it was like, so there was a thing where it's like, well, you know, Toad has had his own game, and Toad has been there for a long time, and he's been in the main games, he's been in everything.
Yeah, Toad should have.
But then a Piranha Plant got in. So, who's to say?
Toad should have his own game. He should have his
They
own
didn't
wild
He
ride.
did.
Yeah, they didn't own Rare, but Rare was basically exclusive with them. But it's also because Nintendo was really the only major player at the moment, so like, you kind of took what you could get from Nintendo. There's actually a lot of stuff about them like not really treating third parties very well, which really hurt them when Sony when Sony came around and made the PlayStation.
PlayStation.
They were offering way better deals to third parties.
Yeah. I mean, now they're being better, but like, still, back then. Well, that's why this PlayStation even exists.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
That's,
Nintendo didn't treat Sony well, and so instead of making a system together,
they decided to make a Philips CDI.
yep, CDI. Never forget that Nintendo chose the CDI.
That does good, brother.
Now, speaking of Nintendo, you know, I got recently as my Nintendo collection. Let me run and get it.
I remember first coming into the office, Sylvie was one of my favorite people to talk to right away, because we instantly, like, I think I wore, like, a Smash Bros. Shirt, and so we found out we were fellow Nintendo heads, like, on the first day I was there, which made feeling comfortable much easier.
Yo, Chris. Chris.
Oh, wow!
Yep.
Wow! Nice toaster!
Oh,
It's very cute.
the Panasonic Cube, the GameCube that plays DVDs.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
I want one.
That was the other thing about like talking to Nina when I first got in there. Is like when we started talking about games, it was so fun.
Yeah, Nina's a gamer, Toby's a gamer, Hamster's a gamer.
Well, it was funny because like Nina and I were talking about The Witcher one day, and Nate was like, "I don't know what that." I was like, "You don't know it?"
Nate stopped being able to pay attention to games when he had kids, from what I understand.
Well, he also said like even before that, like that's the thing is like. So then I'll bring up like I was like, okay, well you know Chrono Trigger, and he's like, what? I was like, that was like prime for you to be playing video games. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I feel like there's some things that he played that you don't expect him to play. Like he's talking about all the games that he had on PS3. It's like
Oh yeah.
It's like I thought that was you stopped way before.
Yeah, I thought that was way beyond your era.
I think it's just that thing where I think he didn't pay like I don't think he ever like paid attention to it as much as like
Sure.
you or I do.
Yeah.
So he like played what he became aware of, but didn't
Yeah.
like go out of his way to like learn what was going on.
He said this is the way to me yesterday, and I was like, you haven't even watched that.
Yeah, but everybody else is saying it.
It's so great.
Like I haven't watched it.
You're a poser.
Granted, I know what it's from because like
It was just
everybody
fun.
in the Discord watches it, so
It was just fun.
I can't avoid Mandalorian discussion.
Really
I have no problem with the Mandalorian. I haven't seen it,
Sure, yeah, no,
but I
tell us
still
how you
know a lot of
really
stuff
feel.
about it. I know a lot of stuff about it, despite I've never seen it. That's all I'm trying to
just
say.
saying, just tell us.
I'm telling you how I really feel, and then you keep talking over it.
Fight.
We just did. What more do you want?
What were you expecting? Godzilla vs. King Kong? Get out of here! You don't got powers there.
I can't wait for them to talk out their differences.
Dude, I'm so excited. I don't care. Like, I know that like everybody's like, well, clearly Godzilla's gonna win. I'm like, I don't really care who wins. I want to see the fight.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I want. I want to
Oh.
see. I want to see big monkey fight big lizard. That's it.
Yeah.
Big monkey, big lizard.
I watch my kaiju movies for the science.
And I know that's not why people aren't actually arguing, but I'm just like, I don't care who wins. I just want to see the fight. I just want to see it.
I want them to realize that friendship is more important.
Exactly.
Kaijus that we made.
The movie ends and them getting married.
Big
Oh.
monkey wins. Fabulous.
That's next week's headline.
Big monkey
Big
wins.
monkey win.
Big monkey
That's all the
win.
effort goes into the reviews. Everybody's like, we're not gonna pretend like we're gonna do an actual like film analysis here. Like all we're gonna write is like, I was hoping the monkey would win and he lost. Like that's the entire review. That's like the New York Times review.
It's like a sports event. Well, clearly that building had it out for Godzilla, so.
If they had fought in a town with architecture that was better for climbing, man.
Kong should have tried to make the fight happen on his own turf.
So what are the odds that Mothra's gonna come in with a steel chair?
Cutie. Mothra's cute.
Mothra, real cutie.
Yeah, he is. What are you talking about? Get out of here!
I guess compared to the other kaiju, like she's fuzzy, so. He's ready to get wasted and watch the Snyder Cut. Man,
Listen, we live in a society.
I
All right.
can't,
We live in a society that allows you to get
can't.
drunk and watch the Snyder Cut.
I can't go there.
I am going to get drunk and watch the Snyder Cut. You are correct. I'm That's it. That's all I have. That's the only emotion I feel when I see that trailer. That's the only thought that goes in my head. And that's all I can say.
Snyder Cut doesn't have a monkey, so.
Yeah, 1 out of 10. no monkey. You just base all your movie opinions on whether or not it has a monkey.
Godzilla. You know that somewhere somebody has a blog or there's some kind of niche movie review site that all it does is review monkey movies.
Oh man, be the change.
That has to exist.
He's like, hold on, you have to know the 2 movies, and I hope you do. Otherwise, it won't make much sense. Meet Joe Black. No monkeys. I was told there was going to be a lot of monkeys in this one.
Gotta say, I have no idea.
So the movie is a giant. There's like this giant gorilla. Mighty Joe Young is the 90s movie instead of
Wait a
Meet
minute.
Joe Black, which is Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins. No, I really want to make this joke site. This would be awesome.
Joe Dirt was pretty intelligent for a monkey, but I thought it was an interesting direction to take. David Spade really stepped into his primate roots. Growing out his hair was a noble effort. And while he didn't quite pull off the monkey look, I think this is as close as they could get with practical effects. Oh man, I haven't seen that movie in so long. It's probably not good, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't really bad.
I remember when I was a kid, I was like, oh man, this is funny and it makes me emotional.
Oh my gosh, the guy from Black Sheep. Was that what your first thought was?
I never saw Black Sheep. When I was a kid, the only movies I watched was the first Turtles movie on VHS and Warriors of Virtue on VHS, and also The Big Green on VHS. I watched those 3 VHS tapes constantly. Oh, and also the Lord Slug Dragon Ball Z movie had that on VHS.
I probably watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie at least 5 times when I was like a kid, and I feel sorry for myself.
Did you watch the TV show?
The Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
I would have rather watched that than watch.
man.
I remember thinking it was so clever at the end when they introduced them as the They're not just the Mario Bros. They're the Super Mario Bros. Like, wow, that's like I thought that was fucking clever.
I love that first Ninja Turtles movie. It's one of my absolute favorite movies. I think it's so good. I don't know. I just think it's a great movie.
The first Turtles movie is genuinely great.
Yeah.
And Warriors of Virtue was a really bad attempt at ripping it off.
Remember Bible Man?
Yes, I remember Bible Man. I think about Bible Man a little too often. What an incredible, incredible film. Well, TV series. New media. It wasn't released on TV.
I know.
New media is what Bible Man
Swing
was.
your arms
From side to side.
The Mario.
Do the Mario!
Bible Man.
Everybody do the Mario.
What was that, Mace?
Why does Bible Man sound so familiar?
I probably talked about
I
it
think because of
before.
Chris, yeah.
I talk about Bible Man a lot.
Oh my gosh! Wait, was it a huge blue Bible? That
What?
talked? No.
A huge blue Bible that talked?
No, that's Salty.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is Salty.
We had a bunch of audio tapes of that. Salty the Psalm Book.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. It was Salty, but with a P in front of the S.
Yeah.
We had one that was all about a big baseball game.
Psalm book.
Yeah, Salty the Psalm Book. Man, that's a blast from the
How a verse becomes a law.
I'm just a song. Yes, I'm already a song.
Dude, Bible Man Cleric build would actually be really, really funny. So Bible Man was yeah, it was, as far as I can tell, it seems low budget enough that I'm pretty sure it was one of the like cool youth pastors who had like a film degree or something, and
Definitely the or something.
but there were attempts at like making like a show to like, it was a Bible show, but it simultaneously tried to like rip off Star Wars and Power Rangers and like also Beetleborgs.
What's a Beetleborg?
You know Beetleborgs?
Basically just Power Rangers, but Beatles.
But there was 3 of them, and they turned into like bug-themed mechs instead of whatever the Power Rangers did in that given season. Yeah, they turned it. They had a lot of different things based on which one you were looking at.
Never heard of it before. I'm
My favorite
surprised.
season was the one where they turned into cooking appliances. Yeah, it's Bible Man's just a really bad show.
His mask is terrifying. It looks like something Buffalo Bill would wear.
Yeah, it's extremely low budget.
Alright, okay. I told my cousins about showing off my first models, and Steven Suffern, my other cousin who got me into it's in the chat, so I'm going back to my picture of the first
Okay.
models I ever painted, and for those that missed it too, we have some other extra people. I was 10 or 11, and I had a blister of these 3 guys, and a handful of paints. Rotting Flesh, Codex Gray, and Vermin Brown later got Bleached Bone. All now extinct paints from Citadel. Classic Goblin Green bases. Again, the glue residue is optional. And the first time I ever glued Flock to something and thought, holy crap, my world is expanded. I covered the frog, you're right, I'm sorry, I covered the frog with my picture. I'm sorry, I've broken the one law of the stream.
Unbelievable.
Riot. Frog! Wait, even my other cousin is choosing the frog over the miniatures he gave me that started my whole life. Oh, awesome. So yeah, DZ and Steven are the whole reason why I got into the hobby, which is the whole reason I got this job, which is the whole reason I can stay in New York City. So there you go. Thank you. Decades later, thank you.
Yeah, I remember Hamster telling me about how he was in trouble of having to leave the city, and then the room force job came through. But I remember it was really scary. You were talking about how like Homo like broke down your door one day and he grabbed you by the neck. He's like, "Look, if you don't find a way to make a living off of painting within by the end of the week, I'm throwing you out of the city."
Dang.
I was like, oh crap! I better
That's
figure that something out.
Or was it Bloomberg at that time? When did we change from Bloomberg to? Oh no, we still have Bloomberg.
Yeah,
Right,
we're talking about the mayor.
Cuomo's the
Governor.
governor.
So that's why it was really scary.
Yeah, so Bloomberg came to your door and he grabbed you by the throat, and he was like, "If you don't find a way to make a living off of painting by the end of the week." My impression of Bloomberg is just Fred Armisen's impression of Bloomberg, which is not actually accurate to Bloomberg. But it's because when we got shut down by this blizzard, one of my first years here, I think, was it 2011?
Close to that, either 2011 or 2010.
I think it was the winter between 2010 and 2011.
Yeah.
We had that big blizzard, and SNL did a skit because the whole city shut down. Nobody knew what to do. Everybody was like terrified, and the whole skit was Fred Armisen playing Bloomberg, just talking about like, I know you all have a lot of questions, like, what is snow? Will the snow stay forever? Just like all this stuff where like they have no idea. It was a very, very good skit, but
Topula says, or was it Giuliani?
Yeah.
cool, yeah. No, I don't think we haven't been here during Giuliani's time.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Actually, I have to give a shout out to Steven Suffer, not his real name, by the way, so I'm not just like, doxing the guy, but he is still painting Warhammer Fantasy models. I sold mine off and I moved on to 40K and Age of Sigmar and other games, and he is still holding fast to his empire, and I respect that.
Nice.
So it sounds like you're calling him out.
Yeah, say his
I said
address.
shout out. Yeah, say his address.
He has not modernized.
No,
He has not rejected.
no, I love it. He's always grabbing up like the eBay lots of the out of production stuff. Like, he's got a sweet collection. He says, "Hell no, I haven't." Yeah.
Not suffering that
It's all
much.
dedication.
Am I
That's what
right?
you do when you care about your art, Hamster.
Oh God. Yeah, actually, that Eldar army that I painted like a few months ago, I had that for like 2 years before I ever got paint on it. Oh man, story of my life. Story of a hobbyist life. Am I right, fellas? Anyone?
Fellas?
I don't have a life.
No?
The fella.
Stella!
Hoser, I've thought about that. I'm like, how long would it actually take to paint every miniature I have? Does the rest of my life have that much time?
If you stop buying new ones, yeah.
Oh, come on.
I guess that's the real question is, at what point in your life are you going to go like, you know what? I've kind of got all my bases covered with minis. I really don't need to buy anymore.
Right. Well, I've definitely cooled off. I've somehow managed to stop buying as many. Yeah, Topula says that's just unreasonable, Chris, which is a great point, I think.
That's fair. So I guess that's my thing is when I look at it, I'm like, I went really big on Bones 5, getting the core stuff. But it's also because I'm thinking that's the only time I'll have to do that. And now I can be more selective with the minis that I get, because like I'm not gonna need a bunch of goblins and stuff anymore.
Topulus, my reaction right there was genuine. That was completely involuntary and genuine, because I know as soon as I look at a Creature Caster Kickstarter, I don't own any Creature Caster. I've always wanted to have one of their awesome models, and I know I'm gonna just go to look, and I'm gonna be all in by the end of tonight. It's for a war game too? Okay, I gotta turn the stream off and hit the browser.
Okay. See you guys next
Somebody
week.
just posted about Creature Caster in the Discord.
Oh my gosh. There's no way I'll be able to resist that. Not launched just yet? Okay, good. Let me set a reminder on my phone. let me tell myself I don't need it until about 2 o'clock in the morning, in which case I'll set a calendar reminder to alert myself to go all in on the Kickstarter.
That's interesting. I'm actually curious. I'd be curious to look and see for like Wildlands. I don't know if we can see this. How many of the all-in pledges for Wildlands were made like super late at night when somebody just like looked at it and they were tired and they're just like, yeah. Like,
here's the thing. I had only backed one Kickstarter before working here. It was for Chris's film, and I hadn't done Kickstarter. But now that I work at a Kickstarter company and I'm using Kickstarter Online, all my targeted ads are for Kickstarters for miniatures. So it's all I see, and they're all I'm all the target audience for. I'm the target audience for all of them.
He's going full Goldblum, everybody.
Yeah, you
freaking out.
gotta cool down.
I'm like releasing that film soon.
DMN, I can't. I'll definitely look it up. I can't back it. I have to though. I'm gonna back all these.
I can't do it, but I have to.
But I have to.
It's a tax write-off. Why not? It's like you're not spending anything.
Yeah, Severin says, I didn't need 80 skinks, but I have them anyway. Yeah, the old school square bases only on these lizardmen. No Sigmar lizardmen over here.
You want to be a square?
Yeah, you're not an old school gamer if you're using round bases. That's the rule.
Oh shit.
Who also got Reaper Bones 5? I went in on it. I don't think Hamster did.
Circles are for squares. That's fine.
Hamster, you didn't go in on Bones 5, right?
That was the one where I talked myself out of it.
Okay.
I didn't get any bit of that, and I had to talk. And this is after staring at it for literally an hour. This is what happens. I stare at it and go back and forth with myself, and I'm either all in, or I am completely out. And this happened with that. What's that historical ships war game that you got? The Pirates. Blood and Plunder. I did that. I backed out of that one too, but I had my pledge ready, and I had to close it. I had to get out.
Yeah, I went deep on Blood and Plunder. But I was just like, well, we're not making modular ships, so...
Right.
You said your movie's releasing soon, Chris?
Yeah, I'm releasing it soon. I just
Well, that's cool.
I just got the updated cut back.
Oh, there's a new cut?
I didn't watch it for a while, but I had to update the credits because we had two people transition in the time since we made the movie and it did Tesla run and stuff. So it took me a little bit to get a hold of the editor, but we got a cut with like the updated with like corrected credits now.
Whoa, that's awesome.
So I've got that all uploaded, and I'm just trying to figure out like when to actually like release it. Honestly, I should probably just set it live. like it will only be doing any good if it's visible for people to see. And it's not like I have the weight to actually make like an event out of it.
Oh, you could. Well, I mean, not in, the current time, but you could do like a Twitch live stream on your channel.
That'd be fun.
Do a watch party.
We did like a viewing party, like theatrical like viewing thing when it first when it came out. But like when we first finished it. But I had it like available briefly online for a little bit, and then we started doing festivals, and it was like, okay, I shouldn't have it available online while we're doing festivals.
Wait, yeah, it's done really well at festivals, hasn't it?
It won a couple, yeah. Nothing big. It's an interesting thing because I tend to beat myself up on my own work a lot, but like I can look at that and go like, no, like it's like this is a well-made film.
I was impressed with that. I enjoyed it.
And it's definitely better than a lot of stuff that I've seen at festivals.
Do you want to give some background to the viewers that don't know what you're talking about?
Here, let me expand Chris's miniature picture here because the poster is in the background.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love
it is.
the artwork for it too. It's a really nice I was actually admiring that in the photo that you sent because I was like, that is a really good movie poster.
Yeah, it's a really good poster design. It's funny. Like
Oh crap! I covered the damn frog again. All right.
Oh come on, hamster!
Hey, I'm right here. Just be, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's better. No, come on, cover Chris.
Yeah, it's a short film I made. It's honestly been a while, but you know, money troubles and all that stuff has hampered things, and it got late. It was late getting out to festivals and everything, so we did our festival run through 2019. Well, it started like summer 2019, and then the pandemic happened, and it kind of like killed festivals. So yeah, I don't know. The festival game is interesting. Like, so much of it is political and not really much to do with actual like quality of the thing. A lot of it is like thematically, can we fit it into a program that makes sense? Like, we try to grab a bunch of movies that have like a common theme or something for this section. And then it'll be like, you know, we prioritize filmmakers that are in the area. And if we've had a filmmaker in here before, we tend to prioritize, you know, repeat filmmakers. You know that. So, I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff to festival submissions. But it did pretty well at the ones that it got into. It won a festival in Texas. It won best screenplay at a festival in Washington.
Oh, my festival live in Texas.
The chat is just people being upset. Oh, what's the premise? It's
a comedy about corpses.
It's a comedy about corpses. Yeah, is the best way to put it.
Well, that's how you put it on the poster.
Yeah, that's what it says on the poster. It's just a comedy about corpses. We also like to describe it as a guy has to babysit his niece.
And that's it. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
I mean, you could say his occupation.
Yeah. See, he runs a funeral home.
Mortician has to watch over his niece for the day.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the one that Tyler you showed us?
Nope.
No.
Okay,
Eerily, he and I just made short films that.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that sounds very familiar, but
Yeah.
I don't remember her niece.
When they were making the one that he wrote, they were like, Aaron talked to me. He was like, "We want to use the same funeral home you did." It's like, okay, sure. And we looked it up, and it's like, oh no, they went out of business. Like, they're not around anymore. I don't know how a funeral home runs out of business on Staten Island. It did.
Yeah, that's true.
It didn't make a killing.
Yeah. And like our concept for ours was, I wrote the concept for it in like 2013 with my friend Matt, and yours was like a weird journey to get to where yours was as well.
Yeah, it started as like this collaborative thing, and then the people I was collaborating on it with like dropped off the face of the earth. But we had started the wheels turning on the project already, and so then it was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. Otherwise, we will have wasted like a lot of time and money, and so just kind of made it.
It was really cool.
Yeah,
Vertex.
I'm
Sorry.
happy with the way it came out.
What's that mean?
Vertex artists would like to know if we've seen the movie Cemetery Man.
No. I've got a guess as to why you brought it up.
And like where yours is a comedy, mine is.
It's weird.
Yeah?
They're both weird. They're both weird and get sentimental.
Yeah. I think that's just like why we're really good friends. It's just that it's like
we just think about bodies a lot.
Yeah, we just think about dead bodies quite a bit.
You guys heard the exhibit Body Worlds? That's these guys right here.
Yeah, I mean that was at OMSI for a long time.
Yes. Man, I miss OMSI.
OMSI was really cool. OMSI, for those that don't know, is a science sort of museum in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, it's very good.
Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, not industry.
Took a lot of field trips there.
Can't remember the last one. What colors do we have this? They got a giant train.
Came around to
Yeah.
Minnesota too. That's where I saw it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. The Body Works was something that traveled.
Oh, or Body
the
Works.
nation,
That's what it
right?
is.
Like it traveled, but like that's why I remember it being at OMSI for years.
Congrats on that, man. Making a film and getting it across the finish line is no small feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I also made it through some of the least financially stable parts of my life. Like, man, it'd be way easier to make that movie now, honestly,
For sure.
than when I did. Just because I'm a lot more stable now. But
Yeah. Well, you're not working on.
I'm not working a
restaurant
job that takes up more of my time for less money and less freedom.
Yeah. I listened to a very interesting discussion today about the like making your money work for you, and like the lie of I gotta work 2 jobs. And it's like you're actually making less money when you work 2 jobs. This idea of you have to make all the money that you do have like work for you. It's interesting. I don't totally agree with the methodology of just like, yeah, you know, our system, our incumbent system is terrible. Like, there's something to that like ideal of attempting to make your money.
Say it again. Yep. Say it. Nothing. Sorry.
Sorry that I kept saying the phrase as the explanation. Is that what you're saying?
I forgive you. You know what? I forgive you.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be the bigger person. I'll make my money work for me.
Well,
Let me expound upon it a little bit. Is that what you want?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know enough about it. That's the problem. Is like
Hold on. Let me put stonks in the stream title real quick.
Say the idea.
Let me tell you how it goes then, as the resident accountant. So in order to make your money work for you, what you first have to do is employ your money.
Right.
And that is easily done. Hamster, don't you dare chuckle.
I said right. You guys have to ask
Okay.
it nicely. Jeez Louise.
I'm sorry. I come out swinging, you know that.
I know that. You're a go-getter.
know
You're a
that.
fighter.
I am. And then after you've employed your money and it's signed its NDA and WD-40 and all those agreements, then that's when you actually can turn that
Frown upside down.
you can put some bang in your buck is what they call it. I don't know.
WD-40 is my favorite punk band.
WD-40 was the best part of the joke. I'll be honest. It's very good.
Don't forget to provide your money with benefits. Yeah, make sure your money doesn't get sick. If your money's in bad health, it's no good to anyone.
Oh my god, you know what that is? It's funds with benefits.
Dividends with benefits. Let's see.
Get all that metal in there.
Well, it's already past 8 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Time
it's
always
really
flies.
Wait,
I feel
what?
like I didn't really start painting until after 8 or after 7. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I always start off with like conversation, but you all right?
Oh yeah, I was trying to get into a crevice and got a little bit of unwanted paint somewhere. Shove in one spot. Then this should be good.
I really like Ragecraft models, man. Like this one's been nice to paint now that I'm finally like getting into it.
Sweet.
They look sweet. I wasn't super familiar with them until you brought them around.
They reached out to me. They noticed that I've made multiple purchases in the store, and so
And I'm like, could you stop actually?
we can't keep up. We're not a real store. We're just. I just did this as a dare. No, they reached out to me, like thanking me for like repeat business. So like, it makes us happy to like see like the same name show up multiple times.
Nice.
And I told them I was like, yeah, I think you guys' like stuff is like some of my favorite to paint, which is funny because like you make like war game models, but like I'm using them for like RPGs.
Right.
But I really like the detail on them. Like they're just very, very well detailed.
You make me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh my.
All right.
Don't worry, it's just a lover's quarrel. Don't worry about it.
What?
Huh?
I thought you didn't want to put labels on it, but all right.
No, I said I didn't want to put labels on the.
Yes, let's live stream this conversation.
Finally, we're getting to the good stuff.
Mm.
We can't stop now.
I'll never be ready.
Oh man.
Well, there's no way I'm finishing this group tonight, so I.
That's fair. I'm definitely not finishing the bishop. I'm trying to do. I realize that I've never used yellow as like the primary color on a model, so I'm like.
You miserable
doing
yet?
that now. And so.
How you doing? Are you miserable yet?
Me?
No, the yellow primary painter over there.
No.
I just have a hard time with yellow sometimes with coverage.
So here's the thing. He comes with options, and for the left arm, I'm not sure which of these to go with. I already started doing the yellow detailing on both of them. Like either I'm holding up a book, or holding up a shield.
There he is again.
And then I have to choose between 3 different heads, but I'm pretty sure I know which head I want.
God. It's on stream. Like at least at the meetings, it's like, oh, that won't leave the office.
Nope. Live for 43 people. Here we go.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, we said the streams would be behind the scenes look at Dwarven Forge, and there you have it. Yes. Yes. Our avatar.
It's focusing on the front!
It's
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Alright.
Well, before we go, 'cause this is one of my favorite parts, I'm gonna cycle through these first miniatures again.
That's fair.
We got Mace with the incredible first miniature, guys. This raccoon face and all the verdigris on the bronze here, like, jeez Louise, that's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Oh crap, I had the cat cam on, so I put the picture away. But there's Toby covering his face. Hold on, let me move it.
Wait, what?
No, I have the miniature covering you. Hold on, there you go. This awesome freehand patterning on the back and on the shield. This is one of the original metal lizardmen from Dwarven Forge. Oh, and it's in his sculpt. Look at that. That's awesome. Amazing. Chris has his. Oh, hold on. Still, I put it on your poster. Hold on a sec. There we go.
A technical disaster.
First miniature again. Freehand on the first miniature on the shield. So cool. We did a fun little event where I was teaching their D&D group on a stream to paint their character minis.
Yeah, we did that on stream. It was fun. Kind of a precursor to doing this stuff.
Yeah. Well, it proved like just how fun and chill it could be.
Yeah. Here's the thing, I worry sometimes about us like being sufficiently entertaining because we'll like get like distracted like actually painting our minis.
I get that way sometimes. That's why I'm glad we have a few people on here, because sometimes people will chat and I'll just kind of paint away and chime in.
You'll take your little paint nap?
My little exactly. And here, special guests in the chat, Steven Suffern and Dum Dum DZ giving me my first models as a 10-year-old. The Warhammer Fantasy Ghouls blister pack in pewter with a handful of paints and a bright red Citadel brush with the classic Goblin Green bases. I just love like how of their time these models are. The grass flock on a Goblin Green base. I just freaking love these guys. And I remember painting them on my mom's old folding, table, and I didn't have any protection for the hobby knife on top of that. There's so many holes in that table. And it's covered in paint now. And she still has it.
It's her memory.
Right. Let me see if I can... Because I actually... One of these ghouls, I found another copy of it. When I worked at Dwarven Forge for a couple years, I thought it'd be fun to paint another one of my first. Let me see. I think I have that picture too.
Weren't you going to submit it for that, the...
Oops. This is a different picture of ghouls. I was going to submit it for the first Golden Demon in the US at Adepticon, but then that got canceled. But I still mean to do it. So this is the new version. So if I were to submit it, because I painted this in that before they announced that Golden Demon was happening, so I probably would touch it up and do some cooler effects and stuff, but I like it. Some cool, like, purpley colors under the skin and stuff, and sort of this ancient fossily bone, almost like if they were to actually smack someone with it, it would just crumble apart.
I like his face. That tongue is really, it's selling me.
So I like that guy. A couple of dead flowers on his base.
Nice.
That was neat. But, so this is the start. So, a lot of you already know some of the Twitchiversary events happening.
Ooh.
But, what do we got coming up next?
Well, this is the last stream before everything goes wild. Next week, we've got 4 streams in a row,
Wow.
Tuesday through Friday. On Tuesday, both Tyler and Toby will be doing a build jam, and they'll be building the boss room for the game that we're going to have on Friday. And you guys are going to get to vote on who wins each round of it as we construct this boss room from 4 12 by 12 like corners. And then Wednesday on the Anvil, the entire thing is just going to be an encounter building session where we're going to take all the rooms that are being used in the game, and we're going to decide what's going to happen in each of those rooms with you guys, like helping give input. Thursday, the hobby hang, we'll be doing our usual thing, except we'll be painting the minis for the players that will be playing on Friday, and then Friday is the actual game.
I'm excited to paint again.
Yeah.
Wait. Are you also painting for that piece?
Aren't we painting the minis?
We're all doing it?
If we have enough, we can divvy them out and get them, just get them painted for the games.
We will have 3.
Oh, if you want to paint Toby, you can take it.
No,
I also
just,
have other
I thought it
minis
was
I
just
can
like
paint.
Hamster and
I probably can't speed paint all of them. I mean, not on stream. I could probably, well, maybe if I really am going at it, but.
I figured splitting them up would be best. We also might have extra minis other than the. We'll probably have extra minis other than the player minis that need to be painted as well, based on what the encounters end up being. Thursday morning, I'm probably gonna have to go pick up a bunch of minis last minute to speed paint in time for the game. So we won't know till Wednesday though what's going in those rooms and what minis we need to get.
okay.
So odds are there will be extra things to paint as well.
Well, there you go. It would kind of be fun to paint them as a group anyway, too, for the stream.
Yeah, sounds fun. I want to go into them.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our Twitch anniversary. It's because of all of you showing up that we're still doing this. If we tried it and no one came and it didn't work, we wouldn't be doing it. So thank you so much.
When we started this stuff, I was very nervous that it wouldn't find an audience and it would just be like, well, I just wasted everybody's time and I'm out of here. But it's gone way better than I told Nate it would, which is good. He's been very, very pleased with the way this whole thing's been going.
Awesome. Cool.
So
well,
thank you guys for that.
Yeah, and look out for all of the cool events, the bit of a stream mini marathon coming up, so stay tuned. And for now, have a great night. Thanks for hanging, everybody.
See ya.
See you later.